taking a critical look at the gaming news of the week.
This is Augmented Reality,
Presented by the Triple S League.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Augmented Reality Podcast, episode 240, and it's a Cyberpunk day. Nothing but Cyberpunk, all the time. This is going to be a fun one. We have so much to go through.
My goodness, it
is about time.
It has been a while since we've had a chance to actually get full into nothing but Cyberpunk.
Well, this is kind of it's their modus operandi. They go for weeks and weeks and weeks with giving us nothing, and then they back up a dump truck and pour it all over us. That sounds really weird. But anyway, we are going to be doing a deep dive into a number of things. We're going to be talking about Night City Wire and all the info that came out of that. We're going to be doing a deep dive into other Cyberpunk stuff that's come out, because not only was there Night City Wire, but some media people have been given early access to play the game, and so they've played the game, given their impressions on it. Haven't really released any gameplay from that.
There's been so the first wave of reviewers have gotten access to the game. They played it. They were on a time limit, so it looks like the however they were playing it, which there's been some like back and forth on. It was limited in several capacities, right. And so we're kind of learning about that. We know that it's been mentioned through several sources that they were only allowed to play with a controller, no mouse or keyboard. It was hard locked out, and I believe there could be several reasons for this. Number one, it's really hard to gain access to the console for the game when you're running on the only input that's accepted is a controller. So this is the reason for this. If anybody's wondering why, there's a solid chance that they disabled the keyboard interface controls because they didn't want people trying to like hack into the game.
Yeah. In case you wanted to be a real life netrunner and hack in, take a look around under the hood where you're not supposed to be. Yeah, a little harder to do that with a controller. Yeah,
so that is one of many possible reasons. It may not be the only reason. It might not even have been a reason. But that is something that can often happen when looking into this kind of stuff. So it's a little bit of that. Then we've also got some kind of a confirmation that there was a 4-hour hard cap on the gameplay. So you had 4 hours of playtime, period. Mm-hmm. That was it. And so it was, for some people, they got a little bit further into the game. Others did more exploring. Others did more trying to dive into crafting. So there's a ton of info out there. But it was all limited to the very early starts of the game. And there was a lot of features and a lot of mechanics that were just simply not available.
Right.
Just straight out, were not really something that you could test out and work with. We believe that there's kind of like this tutorial phase. I'm calling it the pre-chip phase. So there's pre-chip and post-chip, and this is kind of like looking at Skyrim and saying Dragon Slayer, like where you get you fight the first dragon and you absorb their soul. It's like there's very few dragons out in the world. In fact, I think there's none aside from that like hard-coded event. And then once you go through that event, then the game world really starts to change, and then things start happening. Another good example is going to be also like Fallout 4 with the Brotherhood showing up, right?
Yeah, where there's a world change, yeah.
Yeah, there's a significant change in the world. There's a significant change in the mechanics of the combat and in a bunch of different stuff, pre-chip, post-chip. Yeah, so that's kind of it. And we know that there's a chance that certain characters may be killed off after you hit that post-chip scene. So
and that's not really a spoiler, because that was in their that was in their trailer from last year. So
and again, we don't know if that's hard.
Again, we don't know. Yeah, we don't know if that's hard written into the story, or if it's like the result of, if it's just one outcome of the mission you do. Spaz Muffin's wondering if we're going to be delving into spoilers. I mean, we don't really have any spoilers to give, unless, I mean, it depends what you consider a spoiler. But like,
So the spoilers. So I'll break this down. So spoilers. We won't be going into any of the post ship spoilers because there's very little, and it's still all pretty much speculative. There are certain things that after you've kind of seen what's going on, you can kind of like me and others are starting to essentially deduce what comes after certain events and stuff like that, and it's starting to get like you're starting to get more and more of that information. I'm not going to be doing that, and I'm not going to be spoiling anything for you guys, so don't worry about that. The thing that I think everybody wants to focus on, and the thing that I think everybody needs to focus on, is that the just the overall like like more and more stuff is going to be coming out as far as like the story goes. You're going to get some spoilers on the three life paths as far as their entrance into the um, world of Night City goes, like how that acts and how that functions. And that is something that is, I mean, it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like you don't have to worry about that, right? Like that. I mean, this is stuff that you're going to be seeing everywhere. You're going to be seeing these intros, and I think for the most part, I think most people kind of want to know what's in store for them if they choose various roles. And it's nothing like huge. It's nothing like deep. It's nothing like, yeah, you lost your father and now you're teamed up with your uncle who's a master of something something and they're training you to fight back against evil. It's nothing like that. It's like you start in a town, you start in a tower, you start on the streets. That's the depth of the spoilers essentially. Um, so yeah, it's kind of unique. Just as a general heads up for what we will be showing we did get a whole bunch of goodies from CDPR of things that we can show and things that we can kind of give you a look at. And we're going to be playing. I've got one, and you've got how much do you have, Ash?
uh,
You have a sampling
I
of
have
three.
we have a
or-
couple of samples of B-roll footage that we'll be showing. So as Harv
Yeah.
Rob points out here, some reviewers like Paris showed some B-roll footage of the game. And yes, we were sent the same B-roll footage, even though Cyb and I have not played the game yet. Let me make that clear. We have not played the game yet, but we were sent a whole bunch of stuff. And then
Yeah.
so we're going to be showing you some screenshots today, some of which you may have seen out there, but we're pretty sure you'll probably see something today that you haven't seen yet. We're going to show you some clips of the B-roll footage that we were sent. We can't play the entire thing for you.
We're gonna show that later on, just to like let people get into the chat and start tuning in. If you have anybody that you know, be like, hey, they're gonna be showing some footage. So we're gonna be showing you the club afterlife, and then some other stuff. So the club afterlife, you've kind of seen this again. You've seen this in bits and clips. We're gonna show you pretty much the whole thing from when you enter in. The whole clip that they sent us, which we can't show you the whole clip in its entirety from start to finish.
It's like 25 minutes long, yeah. But we
no, the clip about Afterlife. There's
yeah,
because
yeah.
it's broken up into different sections, and we can't show you any one of the sections in its entirety unless it's like 20 seconds long. So basically, we kind of have to chop things up here and there, and kind of give you little tads and bits and stuff, and we also have to we more or less have to add some form of commentary on top of it, just because they don't want us like just posting the whole thing up and putting that out there. It's part of how they're putting out their information. It's part of how they want. This is the same footage that everybody who has played the game is actually allowed to share. They are not allowed to share any of the clips that they record from their own game, and there's things that are that there's NDAs and stuff like that preventing them from doing so. They can only share what they have in the footage. And for those of you who have been wondering, because this has been a common question, why is it that only certain YouTubers, but it was mostly big press, why did they get access to this as is? And the answer to that is, it basically boils down to the fact that unless there was a very small number of people that were allowed in that were not part of big press, and those people were very, very close to CDPR in one way or another, have worked with them, have been with them on a personal level more than once, very, 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 very close. And there was only like, I think it was 2 or 3 spots which was incredibly small. Most everything else was actually, I think it might have been 4 or 5. Most everything else was big corps. Now, if you're asking why, if you're wondering why, it's because big corps have a lot of things to lose. Like when they're sued because they didn't listen to the NDA, they can be sued for a lot of money, like the tens of millions of dollars, and that's part of the agreement that they signed. So other YouTubers and other people that got into that very, very small list were part of the marketing system set up, and there was actually some of that's been has been in the works for a very long time. So if you were wondering kind of like why certain people and how certain things react this way, because it was a common question. It's like, why are they kowtowing to big press? They're not kowtowing to big press, but it's a lot easier to sue them and other journalists who have like a journalist license. If you get sued or if you like do certain things, you can actually have that license taken away. So there's legitimate reasons why there's some of that versus like the regular smaller YouTubers getting in. That's coming. And we will see, because there's already a new Night City Wire scheduled for about 2 to 3 weeks from now. So there's more stuff on the way, and this is when you're going to start seeing more and more of the your favorite YouTubers getting in and checking stuff out. So yeah, none of us from the community have been none of us from the community podcast have gotten in to see that yet. I say that yet because once you kind of get in, you have to sign an NDA, and unlike certain other YouTubers, you don't talk about your NDA when you're under an NDA. It's like you just don't talk about it in general. So if we're saying no, we're not in it, that's like, honestly, we're not in it. We wouldn't lie and say we're not in it, or we are in it but we can't talk about it. Those are things that are very, very unprofessional and very, very, very not welcome.
So if we're ever not talking about it, people are gonna think we're like elbows deep in the game. Anyway, well, and that may be correct, but we won't say one way or the other. Yeah, we'll respect our NDAs. We're gonna respect the restrictions or the guidelines that CDPR gave us for the footage they sent, because it was very generous, and we want to preserve a good relationship with them so that we can keep bringing you that juicy content, in as raw a form as possible. But there's even more, because just this morning as we were prepping to go live, Pavel Sasko was giving an interview live,
big interview,
in Polish,
live interview,
and people were scrambling to translate it, so we're going to go through some of what he said. Might as well do that first.
Well, I've got it all pulled up here. I want to do another programming note. There's been a lot of stuff going on about some YouTubers and streamers and some really big, crazy things and crazy stories going on. I just wanted to let you guys know I'm working on something to kind of do that. Our silence on the matter is not because we're taking a particular side on it. We are quiet on it because this is a very sensitive topic, and we want to deal with it appropriately because it is incredibly important. So if anybody's been wondering about that kind of stuff and like what's happening in that kind of a thing, yes, I actually have a very, very, very close connection with some of this stuff that's gone down. I have found myself in situations where I've needed to act because of things that were not right, and so I want to make sure that we cover that really well. I sent a script to Ash yesterday, and we're gonna it's gonna be definitely a different tone, like hugely different tone. But yeah, it's gonna be big. But anyways, I just wanted to get that as a little side programming note. So
thanks Max Darrett for the super chat. Thank you so much. Variety of choice / world reminds me of original Deus Ex. OG Deus Ex Club. OG Deus Ex gang right here. Fist bump, Max Darrett. I love that game. All right. So you want to go through Pavo's stuff?
So here's a couple things. These are a couple notes. Now this is translated by one person and has been verified by some of it has been verified by other people. This was in Polish. So some of the translation may be a little wonky, a little off. Polish is one of those notorious languages that English is just really, 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 really behind on, or like I don't know how to say it. It's like there's a lot of easy mistakes you can make in translating certain things from certain languages, and Polish to English is one of those ones where there's some difficulty, and we've run into this on numerous times before. It's like the very, a lot of baseline stuff can be, a little bit odd. I can't wait for the day when everybody speaks in memes and
The universal language of humanity.
smiley faces and emoticons. It's like I think we can seriously. I seriously expect that there'll be this day where it's like universal languages, like a combination of memes and other stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Get to
okay,
the
so
cyberpunk
here's-
stuff, man. Get to the cyberpunk
Yeah.
stuff.
Here, so there is car destruction, a car destruction system, and I can guarantee this. We've seen this from other people and reviewers who've talked about it. Cars are pretty tough when
As you would
you're just
expect,
bumping
yeah.
into stuff and crashing into stuff, and they do respawn, or at least particular ones do. Like your primary vehicle will respawn. So no worries about accidentally killing Roche. He's gonna always come back, more or less. So we can guarantee that there is. There is a wanted system similar to GTA 5 where you can drive over NPCs and get a higher and higher and higher ranking.
Now, I just want to point this out. There's obviously going to be some comparisons to GT5 being drawn here, but everything we've heard has said that, or like everyone who has commented on this has said it's not like it doesn't feel like GTA. Like
No, it's not.
It's a
not
different
GTA,
game. It's
but
it
wanted-
just
they're
has
talking
some
about the
elements
wanted
that are
system.
similar.
Yeah, they're talking about the wanted system here, and
Yeah.
the wanted system is somewhat similar in meaning that the more you kill and the more you do random acts of violence, the more people are going to come after you. And if you hit a certain point, this wasn't in this particular page, but if you hit a certain point, max tack will come out, and you're not surviving that. So,
So
apparently,
Okay, yeah, and that's the only
So-
fail state of the game. That as far they've made it clear that you can't fail this game by failing a quest or anything like that. But if your character gets killed, then that's game over. Unless you get revived somehow. I don't know.
yeah. So
I don't know how that
there's-
works, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's not go into that because that's some speculative stuff there.
yeah.
The max tack will bring you down and end you. And exactly what happens from that, we don't know. We know that there is some form of a jail-like system in place, so there is some of that. It reminds me of all those mods for Skyrim. It's gonna be interesting to see kind of what comes out of that. In the demo, you couldn't drive through friendly NPCs like Jackie. There was one moment where in the demo where the player tested it, and the car just went through Jackie's model, and Jackie was putting some stuff into the car's logo. Maybe it was a bug. In the demo, some parts of Night City seemed quite empty of NPCs, most likely because it was just the demo and a limited one. The world was limited. You could not do or access everything. So this is kind of one of these like housekeeping things. This is also why footage wasn't allowed from people who played it, because there were certain things that were turned off in the demo. And again, this is also why they didn't throw this out to a lot of smaller YouTubers and streamers, because there's some people who just don't understand this. I mean, I think, did I talk about this last week, or did I just
We talked
rant
about
to
it
you
recently. But anyway,
So
yeah. I
it's
mean,
like-
just
it's
briefly.
like- yeah, just briefly, in a Discord for what's supposed to be journalists and game like early reviewers, and you've got some people asking dumb, stupid questions like, why is there a pink floating blob in this game with a question mark on it? What is this? What kind of level of like quality are you guys bringing here? Like, come on. This is, like, it's called a placeholder, you idiot. As if somebody was an actual journalist or understood what game development was like, playing a super early advanced copy, you should know that. Good God. Sorry, little annoyed with idiots like that. And and again, it's like this is you're getting something that's 3-4 months early. Like what the hell?
Yeah.
Anyways, so just there's going to be some of that. You're going to hear about some of that kind of stuff going on. And you basically just delete those from your mind and wait until you actually get your hands on the game, or wait until like a week before review when people are actually playing the most like up to date patch thing. So yeah, and I love ranting against morons. You can pet cats in the game.
Lady Reaver's going to be excited about that because she was complaining about. She was disappointed, I should say, about the apparent lack of pets, and I mean it was revealed that there's very like animals are apparently rare in this world, so it sounded like you couldn't have pets in the game, but you can pet the kitties. So
yeah,
and by that I mean the animals.
Yes, obviously. So this is actually very interesting. This also means that there's going to be some mods for sure that will allow you to have a cat in your apartment. For sure on that. Like, it's not even going to be hard at this point. You can walk around while having a dialogue, and the camera,
which is
focus on the person you're talking to.
I like that. I like that a lot. That you can actually move around and not just be stuck while you're in the middle of dialogue. Yep, that's good.
Yeah, a resume dim with like time stop behind you. That's always kind of weird.
Yeah.
This also means that I can't wait for the videos where you are talking to somebody and you walk out and then you get hit by a truck. Oh, it's gonna be so funny.
Well, we also know that like we know a few things about how dialogue works, like what your actions while you're in dialogue with another character can affect how the conversation goes. You're in a tense situation and you look at the gun on the table, the NPC is going to react to that. So you got to watch what you're doing. But yes, you might get hit by a truck. I can't wait to find
it. For autistic people like me, that's going to be so annoying. Is like I'm going to sit down and I'm going to start talking with somebody, and he's going to be like, "Hey, why are you looking at that gun? Why are you looking at that girl? Why are you looking at the floor? Why are you looking at the roof? Hey, look, can you spend time looking at me?" Like,
I want to.
I'm sure it's gonna...
I can't wait to tick off some mob boss because I glanced at his girlfriend or something. Oh, that would be really, it's gonna be awesome.
That would be really funny.
All right.
Like,
so okay, let's talk about what we know about the character creation. That's the next point on here. But I also have some additional information pulled up about it. But there's, we know a whole bunch of the options that you have for the character creator right now, and there's a lot. Mm-hmm. 6 different skin types, 35 hairstyles, which I actually thought was a little low. 35. A lot of I saw some people commenting.
Some of these may not. There may be more added to this. This is one of these things that we don't really know about. So
yeah, but currently
this is one of the scenarios. Yeah,
currently
so
there's one of the. Sorry, go ahead.
So there's several scenarios where certain hairstyles, certain things. There's like there are certain hairstyles, especially in games where it's like you're dragging down the game just by having them on and using them and stuff like that. So it's depending on the complexity of the models and that kind of stuff, and or how that's loaded in.
Mm-hmm.
So that will potentially cause some differences. So there may be some that just aren't on yet. There may be some other options that are getting there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
the hair in this game looks damn good though. Like
yeah, it really does. Sunny brings up in the chat. He brings up the Mr. Stud option, and Robin, yes, the horse version as well. I mean, I am really waiting to see and hear what we're getting as far as these options. And then there's also, I would hope that there's more options, because as we're hearing right now, there's only 3 options, no sliders, just 3 options. And I'm like, wait a second, shouldn't we be able to mix and match here? Like,
well, I've heard different. So yeah, skipping down to the sort of, I guess the nether regions of your character. For males, there's 2 types. For females, just 1 type. But apparently, you can just turn it off too, and just be a Ken doll. But as far as the options, as far as the size, if you're playing a male character, One source said there were 2 size options, which seems bizarre to me, as opposed to an actual slider. This source that I'm looking at right now just says size options. Plus, for the type of hair you have down there, there's 5 different options. So there you go. But as far as the rest of your body, also there's an option to you can turn nudity off, at least in the character creator, and then it respects your choice on that. So like if you want to have your character clothed and just modify the parts that are
shocker,
exposed
the
there.
image that they put out months ago, last year, of like having the nudity turned on or off, for the people who freaked out on that, that was just an option, idiots.
Right.
Like,
and I think that's good, having the option. It's
like, there were some people who just flipped out. Like, I'm not talking consumers. I'm talking like people, YouTubers and reviewers and press that are supposed to know that these things are most likely the reason why, and instead they jumped on it because hate clicks are better than whatever. I'm not talking about regular Joes. Regular Joes are not necessarily supposed to know this stuff off the top of their head, unless you're a super fan. But good grief, this really proves that there's some people out there who put out these articles and these videos just to get clicks because they survive off of riling things up. And I want to call them out because obviously this was just an option, which is what we kind of said from the get-go, is like, obviously there's like you've got 2 different options, and that's what we've always said, options are good. And so
and
options,
for that matter, I'm hoping that they have this option throughout the game, just for the sake of content creation, so that we don't run into issues with YouTube or Twitch.
Or it's like and you've got kids at home, so you understand this. Is like, sometimes you just want to turn on the, like, hey, can I not have heads explode and or see see a giant blue dongalong, going back to the Watchmen, just showing up on screen for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
Just like, just walk around the corner. Oh, hey, hello, giant blue glowing dongalong. By the way, why that's not an option in the character creator, I'm a little bit concerned.
Well, I don't know if you could.
Also,
you might be able to give yourself blue skin, and that would presumably presumably translate to whatever you've got going on down there.
Time being, she's been wanting a giant old tentacle. I want several. There's all kinds of options and things. And there's definitely, like, some stuff and some room here for mods to grow. I swear, this is gonna be the greatest thing ever.
Well, and let's just quickly. I'm just gonna rattle off the rest of the options here. There's 17 different eye types, 8 eyebrows, 17 mouths, 17 jaws, 17 ears, 8 bits of cyberware. I don't know if that means 8 cyberware slots or if you get some initial starting, like, cosmetic cyberware. Not 100% sure what that's referring to. 9 types of scars, or you can turn that off. 6 types of tattoos, also you can turn those off. 11 piercings plus off. 5 types of teeth, 8 bits of eye makeup, 5 bits of lip makeup, or that can be turned off. 3 blemishes, 3 types of nipples. 5 types of body tattoos, 2 types of body scars, and then the other sort of nether region options that we discussed earlier. So, and also there's a randomizer option. Like, you can choose a preset, you can start from scratch, or you can, like, click the randomize button that'll, like, randomize a character for you from all the available options. 3 types, max. 3 types. Not 3 types. Okay. All right, let's continue going through. Man, Pavel talked about so much. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get through all of this.
We're gonna do we're gonna do a quick fire. So the you can watch TV and check your email in V's apartment. The fact that you can watch TV, I'm hoping this is more than like a 5-second loop of something random. I hope they have whole shows.
I was going to say, that means they've made shows in the world, which is amazing.
Well, I'm hoping that it's like more than just like, again, a 5 or a 30-second clip or something like that that
Yeah.
just repeats. Like I'm hoping that they went and bought like some like it'd be really funny if they went out and bought some like weird like TV shows from like the 80s or the 90s or something like that, and just play them on like they bought the rights, and they're just like full shows of like some like I would love, and please, I know there's some people from CDPR listening. Tell somebody at the company, go out and buy like some 1980s like local like TV shows made in Poland, and put whole episodes up from those shows. Like, just buy the rights, just put like whole episodes up so that we can watch something, because that would be absolutely awesome.
Yeah. Harp
Like,
Robs,
buy the
apparently SkillUp has said that there's a 5-minute show you could watch in the elevator. Alana Pierce said something similar. You can just actually sit down and watch the TVs. So that's really awesome. Yeah, The Witcher. the Witcher Polish, the original Polish Witcher show. Yeah, they should broadcast that in Night City. No, that's awesome. And I agree. I hope there's a lot. You can break into any car from the street, but for some you need a proper perk like strength to like take the person out or pull the door open. I imagine like hacking skill or lockpicking will play into that. You can drive through Night City to the Badlands without any loading screens, and the Badlands are explorable too. We're going to show you some of that in a little bit here. You can get texts on your phone from random fixers. Also, you can send emails to them to complete or progress some quests. So there's going to be like some bounty quests, some other quests that fixers give you, like side quests and things. I read somewhere recently, there's been so much information, but apparently like if you're a corpo, you can team up with MaxTac or the police or something and get quests from them. So that's really cool. Your character backstory affects the story, opens and closes some quests. It defines what you'll have access to and how the world reacts to you. We kind of know that already. Basically, every quest you'll find in the game... I'm onto the second image now, side, by the way. Basically, every quest you'll find in the game tells some part of the game's story, or some part of the world's story that you live in. The story is the main focus of the game. And, the police don't work like GTA. It's there, but it'll react to you and is designed to work as it would react in Cyberpunk, right? So they're not necessarily, going to be ramming you because you ran a red light, like in GTA. They even designed ketchup and mustard bottles to belong in the Cyberpunk universe. Apparently, Pavel said exactly this. Witcher 3 was much easier to calculate how long it can be. Cyberpunk is almost impossible to calculate the length of the game. That's why they aren't stating how long it'll take. For example, Pavel said he saw people speedrun The Witcher 3 in 2 hours. Others played it for 25 hours, others 900 hours. So it's pointless to even try to calculate for the Cyberpunk.
Yeah, so this boils into like side quests, how long you take. Like, obviously there's how long you take to do side quests, but also how you like push the story out. Like, are you going to be somebody who's doing like everything, exploring everything constantly? I can tell you that I've only ever finished Skyrim once, like as far as like getting to the actual ending of like fighting the dude in the I can't even remember what it was called. It's in like the afterlife kind of thing. It's like that's the only time that I actually pushed the game all the way to its end point. Most of the time that I play it now, I play pre Dragon Soul. So you're just a regular Joe basically, without any fancy shouting powers or anything like that, and that's where I spend most of my time replaying the game. Very seldom do I even bother to get dragon powers, because it's because I'm mostly due to the mods and stuff that I work with. It's just not something that I'm necessarily interested in. So yeah, the same can be said for this. It's like replayability is going to be super high on this. It also depends on how much of like a randomization in quests are there, and then also like user generated content post, and then of course their expansions too are going to play a big role into that. So yeah, this is not something that you can necessarily sit down and like bang out and say this is how the story plays, and this is how the characters are, and this is this. And if you're playing if you're playing religiously as a as a non-violent, or as a somebody who's playing the good path or the bad path, it's like the whole game is going to shift and change for you in that experience. Like, one of the things that I am probably never going to do ever is probably hijack somebody's car. It's just not something. Like, this is one of the reasons why I never played Grand Theft Auto. Is not never played it, is the why I was never interested in playing it. I've played it here or there, but it's just the concept of, like, hey, go steal that dude's car. I'm like, what? Why? What did the dude ever do to you? Like that's really rude. Have you ever been on the receiving end of that? That's horrible. Why would I want to do that? And somebody's like, it's just a game. It's like, yeah, but like, rude. So, like, I will never, I'll never run up and go, oh, hey, look at that cool car, I'm gonna steal it. I'm never gonna do that.
So you're gonna be okay with hacking a dude's cyberware so that he catches on fire, but carjacking, that's where you draw the line.
Like,
gotcha.
Like, yeah,
okay,
it's just one of those things
rude. It's rude. It's like a true Canadian.
The entire aspect of that game is something that I'll never experience, because it's just like, I would rather do anything else in the game than randomly hijack some random dude's car. It's like
yeah, well,
I just can't get into that.
You don't have to carjack in GTA, I don't think, but anyway. It's
like Watch Dogs. Now, not the movie I'm talking about, the game. In Watch Dogs, it's like you could, like, change lights to, like, make them all turn green, and then watch as people smash into each other. Again, something I would never ever ever do inside a video game. Again, not because it's like I'm against, like, causing chaos and randomly walking into a village and leveling it with some super god mode spell, because it's one of those things where it's like, that's so rude. Why would you? That is so rude. Why would you do that? And it's, for some reason, I'm just caught up on that. So anyway.
No, that's fair. And yeah, I mean, it's the whole point of this game is you play how you want to play it. So you can be a good boy and not carjack any cars as you're on your way to murder 1,000 people.
Yeah.
All right.
So speaking of murdering 1,000 people, you can finish the whole game without killing anyone. That doesn't mean that you don't have to hurt people, but somewhere down the line. But for sure, you won't be forced to murder anybody in cold blood. So that's really good. Like, that's really 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 good. So yeah.
So there's some interesting things here in the third image. Relationships between characters is made to be realistic, not bring me 10 coins and I'll sleep with you. It is meant to feel your choices, and the relations between characters is meant to mean something to the player. This is something that some reviewers talked about that I heard as well. No, it wouldn't have been the reviewers. I doubt they got into the romance quests, but the romances, and I'm looking forward to exploring this, because I mean I've had my issues with romance quests in games before. You heard me ranting about it on the Discord server recently if you were hanging out in one of our voice rooms. But yeah, I hate it when it's like, tick all these boxes and this character will sleep with you. Like, that's dumb, in my opinion. I feel like they're going for a more organic approach. Like, there's a whole bunch of different factors that just, it sounds like they're trying to, as realistically as they can, simulate, this character, starts to like you, or maybe they don't like you at first, but you spend more time with them, and then they start to warm up to you, or it's really, they either click with your character or they don't.
Yep.
We know that a lot of the NPCs are going to have preferences as far as, if they want to engage with males or females or both, and so they're going to have those preferences. So some of them are going to be locked out right from the beginning. And for the other ones, I mean, it's going to be depend on how you play, how you interact with them, a whole bunch of different factors. So I'm curious. I'm curious to see what they pull out of this, because I've been wanting a better system. I have just I generally ignore romance quests in games just because I find them so fake and tedious. But I mean, it
Hey,
sounds like they're going to be better
hey,
in this.
the, my relationship with Blue Asari girls is one of my like best attributes. So
Well,
they're real to us. They're real to us.
hey, I'm not
Agent
not
Ghost.
judging, just saying this is what I like. Or that's not my thing.
Agent Ghost. Of course I was. Of course I was. It's gonna be awesome, man. It's gonna be awesome. Yeah. So this is exactly as and yes, many people are kind of pointing this out. So yeah, this is the relationship that I was expecting and hoping for. Um, Wink, wink. Uh, that was in the game, and it's like you're going to be able to make them, to make everything, a little bit better in regards of some stuff. So you're going to be able to like, get closer to certain factions, and that's good. And you're going to be able to get close to police factions. So this is an even more interesting system because you're going to be able to like work for the police in like killing people that they want or knocking them out. You can also just knock them out and then turn them into the police.
Yeah. So like a
And
bounty. That's kind of that
yeah,
bounty
and
system I was talking about earlier. Yeah.
so the bounty system is going to reflect that, and you also get notifications from the police and from the trauma team, as an example. Again, once again for reminding anybody new, these are for we're going through a list of stuff that was talked about today, in a live stream with Pavel, and it was all in Polish, and it was being translated, and this is a translation of it, and we're reasonably certain that the translation is very solid. So,
Yeah. So yeah, that's so let's just kind of rapid fire through the rest of these because we got so much to get to. We got some visual content for all of you.
So the police will not see you necessarily everywhere you go. Wherever you're in gang territory, the gangs instead will be watching you. The system is very complex, and the very last stage of dealing with it is like Max Tack and Psycho Squad, and they will kill you on sight. And yeah, but you will really have to screw up to make them come for you like hardcore. So
Yeah, I wonder
most
if
of
you
the
can
time
get
it's like,
tasks. I wonder if you can get bounties from the Psycho Squad to go after
probably
cyber
not, because
psychos.
the Psycho Squad is like the last line of defense. They don't have anybody that they're like, oh, I really don't want to deal with this
Yeah, but
today. Can we
if
get
if a
Joe
cyber
Schmo
psycho
to
goes
do
on
it?
a rampage, like, and you just happen to be there, I wonder if you can. That anyway. Let's carry on.
So then there are mini games in the game, but they're not planning something as like Gwent. So we've been hearing like all kinds of this. There's been so many rumors going around about this. So yeah, there's some stuff up in the air about that. You won't be able to install every implant in the game at the same time. You'll have to decide what will be left of your humanity as the implants integrate into your system. Pavel said, "We know how Windows works if we put too many things into it. You can delete and swap some of them out, of course. So this is like, of course, you're not going to have the rocket launcher and the vibroblades and the
You'll have to
gorilla
pick and
arms at the
choose.
same
Yeah,
time. You're
like
going to have to pick and choose what you want, because if you try to go for everything, you end up like that Atom Smasher guy that we saw,
full
where
conversion. Yeah.
you're just a giant metal thing walking around, and you've at that point you don't really have very much connection with people. So, yeah.
Okay.
The expansions are still being planned. Nothing to share yet. They are to be created and not the focus for right now. They're focusing on the main game first. So again, this is not a company that works on a ton of content and then takes giant cuts of that content out of the game so that they can later drop it into the game after launch as an expansion and milk you for more money. This is not something that they inherently do. This is something that they may have ideas and stuff, but if they don't purposely withhold any system so that they can then milk you for it later. This is not what this is not what CDPR does, and this is why we love them so much. So yeah, that's
All right.
that's really
Yeah.
good. There'll be information given when you're there will be an information given when you'll be about
When you're about to make serious decisions in the end,
yeah,
in the end game, you'll be warned. Like you'll be somehow warned that you're getting close to
similar
that
to
last
Witcher 3.
thing.
So
Yeah.
so a little bit of the fourth wall breaking kind of thing, or it's like, hey man, you better make sure that you've wrapped up any business you need before we go on this very subtle small mission that has absolutely no major consequence at all at the moment that you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
So just make sure you wrap up any other things that you want to do, just in case things get a little crazy with this last side quest, stuff like that, and again, immersion, right? So yeah. You can decide not to install any implants except for the operating system that is in your body, and the rest is up to you. But it's like living in New York without a phone. It's like,
Right.
Blackest Lance was the name of a booster that was given to a Mealstorm gang member to smoke while buying a spider bot.
Blackest Lance. Okay.
Okay. They have a special weapon design team that spent countless hours designing and creating logic behind the weapons. Every weapon has a story and its lore. Each one is different. Same with cars. Even things like pizza is made to perfectly sit inside the story created for this game. So this is really exciting for me because this means we've got Cyberpunk pizza, y'all. I can make Cyberpunk pizza.
For those of you who are not aware, Cyb is actually quite a good cook. And when we did way back in the day when we covered Fallout 4 and did our making Nuka-Cola videos, we meant to branch off and do a whole bunch of different recipes from inside the Fallout universe, but that never came to fruition, sadly.
We're still sitting on that. So there's the Smoke 'em Joe's like donut / like espresso cup things that they had. I actually have a working recipe for this. The one of the main reasons why we never did a video for it is because I had to create a whole new science behind this stuff. Having a donut that can hold an espresso hot that you can drink from, then eat. That is not an easy thing to do. I had to legitimately, I had to invent stuff for this. So yeah, this is it's something that we're going to come back to, obviously, when there's more relevant Fallout news. We're going to come back and
but there might be Cyberpunk recipes we can do, but
yeah, we're definitely doing. I have spoken with a certain lead designer about all of the things that are involved with kibble and a bunch of other stuff in the Cyberpunk lore, and I'm already starting to work on some stuff for that. So, and it's like I've taken this to a bit of an extreme. I've even gone so far as to create keto versions of it because great. It's like, yeah, this is gonna be pretty awesome. So expect some cool stuff coming up. We will have more Fallout food stuff in the future, because Fallout food is probably one of my favorites, because it's like, Skyrim, it's like pretty normal. It's just like regular things that you can bake, like that's kind of like middle agey, right? But like Fallout stuff, it's like gecko meat. Like what do you do with gecko meat? Like, how do you get that? How do you replicate that? And I'm very much like,
step one, find gecko.
One fine gecko. Anyways, to expand on the weapon details, Pavel explained that there's a company in the game called Budget Arms. It's basically a vending service machine where you can buy weapons from it. It's
it's
kind
like
of
the Outer Worlds
garbage, and it's for a quick job, 100% different than the Militech weapons.
So different qualities, different quality tiers of weapons. That's good, yeah.
And we know this
one thing I really loved about that was the part of the Outer Worlds was all these different companies. And some companies were like cheap equipment that would break really fast, and then others were higher quality, and so I like that aspect of it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, then there's we know that there's crafting in the game as well. So crafting is going to make a play. So we'll see kind of how that kind of boils down to stuff too. So There are longer and more complex brain dances than the ones that were shown in the gameplay. These were the quicker ones, mostly depending on how the player can spot stuff, fast. If they can spot stuff fast enough, blah blah blah. This is so. There's been a lot of like I've seen. So out of a lot of the stuff that people have reviewed, I've gotten a lot of we've heard a lot of negative reviews about the brain dance. Again, this is and this is annoying. I would never, as a person of integrity, go, you know what? I found the car hijacking system in the game to be utterly garbage and stupid and blah 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 blah. It's like this. This is like it's if it's not my thing, I'm just gonna say, hey, it's not my thing, and kind of make some funny jokes about it, and then move on. I'm not gonna be like, I really didn't like that there was this like slow paced like investigative like thing in the game. It's you don't have to do it, dude.
Well, that's
Like,
part of it too. Is I imagine these are largely optional.
yeah. And I mean it's going to open up stuff. It's going to be there. This is an RPG. In an RPG, not everything is crafted for you to enjoy 100% all of the time. And I cannot stand reviewers who do this. It's like, if you don't like a particular mechanic within a game because it's a mechanic that other people enjoy, like a relationship system, or like a gardening system, or a crafting system. It's like, if you don't like those things, then just don't talk about it. Stop.
I'm sure
it's not if it's not for you, just stop criticizing it. Like,
there's
you can
always
criticize it on
aspects
the
of every game that you're not gonna like especially a game this complex. I'm sure there's parts of it that I'm gonna not enjoy, but that doesn't take away from the overall quality of it. Doesn't mean it's not well done.
It's so rude. It's so rude to just look at somebody else's work, knowing that it's a very broad-based game that's meant to cater to like a lot of different stuff, and then for to listen to these people go on a rant for 5 minutes because, oh, it could be so much better if it was like this or like that. It's like what you're asking for doesn't make it an investigative like system. It makes it as a super quick puzzle solving problem. It's like, good grief, guy. Like, get a grip on your reality. Like, seriously.
It's also important.
Some people like that,
consider.
and they want that in there. And this is absolutely, which I'm glad I'm ranting about this right now, because I'm going to have to send a note to a couple of the devs saying, do not listen to what these dumb butts are saying about this, because this system is in the game for a reason, and it caters to other people who are, just due to the nature of the game and the first personness of it, I'm going to have a hard time running through it like a gunslinger, like just random, running around shooting everything. I'm going to have to go really slow. It's like, the last thing I want them to do is remove the ability to go really slow in a stealth mechanic, just not, running around shooting things left and right all the time. Like, I don't want them to remove that part because some dumb butt on YouTube was ranting about how the stealth system was so slow. It's like, it's the stealth system. If you don't like a stealth system because of the nature of the stealth system, you don't have to play through that as a stealth game. Like, come on. It's not even, for now, it's not even multiplayer. You don't even have to, if you don't like stealth, you don't have to deal with it in the game. And again, it's like same thing with this system. The investigations are there for people who want to get deeper into the concept of how cyber stuff actually works, wants to really like understand what Judy does, from the get-go. And it's like, this is what's sets this game apart from other games like Doom, where it's just go in and shoot everything. It's like, okay, well, what of those of us who don't want to go in and shoot everything? It's like, God, so I'm really annoyed with some of the people who are writing reviews on this, because it's like, look, I understand from just how you're writing that you don't like this system. It doesn't mean that it's a bad system and that the system doesn't belong there. Like, grow up. This is your job. You're an adult. You're supposed to be doing this as your job. You're supposed to be able to say, hey guys, there's this cool thing. It appeared cool. I am not into this type of mechanic, so I am eager to see what other people are going to think about this mechanic. But I myself am not interested. I looked up one of these dimwits who had the same complaints about the same investigative system in every previous game that had that. and they trashed on all of those investigative systems. Why are you reviewing a system that has an investigative system? Like, oh, head
Yeah.
explode. Seriously. Like, just, I really have a hard time dealing with this stuff. It's like, obviously it's not there for you. Stop thinking that everything in life is designed for you. Ugh. I mean, yes, I've railed on the first person, third person thing, but again, I've made that clear. That's personal choice. And it's fine if other people don't agree with me on that. It's not something that I'm disliking people over. But yeah, anyways.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And
enough on that. Writing sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's important to keep in mind with the Braindance, all we've seen is the tutorial too. So
yeah. And that's the tutorial.
Yeah. So of course it's gonna be slow. Of course it's gonna be step by step. Of course Judy's gonna guide you through the process and just, take you through it nice and slow and really sorry, what were we talking about?
Yeah. Judy.
Judy's
Judy's beautiful, by the way. Judy's really awesome. Really, Ash did a video where you found a beautiful song to put to Judy.
Yes, check out the Judy video after the podcast today. Did one. So we've started a new little thing where we're going to be doing quick videos called quick, but short videos called Slices of Cyberpunk 2077. Put out 2 overnight, and it's been getting good reception so far. So I've got about 8 or 9 more planned, and probably more after that as we see more and more of the game. But it's just focused. It's kind of zeroing in on individual characters, individual aspects of the game. Yeah, Judy's awesome. Judy's awesome. Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyway, although I have to say, I'm going to show you an NPC later that I think is far cuter, but that's just me. Okay.
Well, that's you're crazy. Clearly, writing quests for Geralt and writing quests for V is a completely different experience. Something in a different scale, bigger and in far more complicated. Pavel explained your life path or abilities will give you some more paths and more quests and dialogues and options to choose from. Some won't. The quests are made to make you feel like this is the version of the quest that your choices are making and inspiring. CDPR is not able to say what requirements are met to run the game at this time. We know that a lot of people have been getting some pretty good feedback based off of fairly good machines. So this is again one of these scenarios where I think you can kind of tone it down quite a bit or rank it up quite a bit.
Well, this game is runnable on a 7-year-old console. Let's put it that way. So
yeah,
it may have some features toned down, but you're not going to need to necessarily go out and buy a $2,000 PC to run it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's about all of the relevant stuff.
So that's all of the some of the stuff. So I've got some other tidbits here, really quick. I'm just gonna point them out. So, shorter quest, taking the role of the police consequences. We got that. You can align with the police and hunt people for money. We got that. You can definitely land in something that's similar to jail.
Well, while you're going through that, let me just say
we have a little bit of a misunderstanding here with the whole Gwent thing. There is mini games in the game that are similar to Gwent, but it's nothing like Gwent. I believe this here means that it's not something that I think there's some kind of a translational error. So just kind of going back to that whole Gwent thing, there seems to be both a positive and a negative of translation here with what he's said about the Gwent minigame. So in one hand, it looks like he was saying, oh no, we're not going to do a similar thing to Gwent, versus like, no, we're doing a thing like Gwent, but it's not Gwent. Like it's not a card game type thing. So there, again, with this whole thing, it's probably one of the biggest secrets that there is. We know that they have a we know that they went in and took over a couple of companies and one that specializes in web in app games. So I think this is so. Yeah, let me just put a caveat on that thing that we covered a little earlier. We still don't know what's going on here 100%. Yeah, so just kind of put a cap on that. Yeah, so I think that's I think it's pretty much everything where we're at right now.
All right, you are listening to the Augmented Reality Podcast. If you haven't already, please do slam that like button. We've got a lot more to show you here. We are going to get into some of the visual content. We're going to be looking at screenshots and some video in just a moment. But yes, also, if you want to keep the conversation going, there's a lot of great conversation happening in the live chat right now. If you want to keep the conversation going after the live broadcast, join our Discord server, where you can chat with us, other Triple S community members. It's really just exploded into a really thriving community over the past few months. I don't know, maybe we can thank lockdown for that. I don't know. But in any case, I mean, it definitely was before as well. So it's a great place. It's a great place, very healthy community. We've got some mods now just because of how it was exploding and growing, and so it's fantastic, lots of fun. So come join up. Also, we've got it's a game, kind of a contest, but mostly just for fun. There will be a game giveaway for our favorite response, but we want you to show us your favorite NPCs that you've seen in any official CDPR Cyberpunk 2077 material. It can be main characters, it can be side characters, it can be a random NPC on the street, it can be somebody in a concept art, as long as it is actually made by CDPR. In other words, not fan art, not cosplay, anything like that, but actual Cyberpunk 2077 characters. Tell us who your favorite, who the best looking are, why you like them, whether you want to marry them, kill them, or spend a nice Valentine's Day Braindance with them. We will be giving away a game key for our favorite response, and some of these might end up in a video as well. We're planning a couple of fun videos around this. So yeah, we need more responses though. So get in there if you haven't done it already. You can do multiples as well. We have a bunch of game keys. We'll let you choose which one you want if you win that one. But again, it's more of a game for fun than a contest, but there will be a giveaway. So check it out. Link to the Discord server's in the description. All right. So let's get on to sort of the more visual aspect of the show today. So we have some screenshots we're going to show. We're going to go through some video. Do we want to go through the trailer? I wonder if that... Yeah,
we can go through we can go through the trailer, because the trailer has some stuff that was not in I believe, yes, I'm pretty sure it has some stuff that that wasn't in the other data points or the other packages that were put out.
Okay. Well, if you're watching on YouTube, turn your attention to the actual video now. We're going to start showing you some stuff. So first off, we have a whole bunch of screenshots. I'm going to show you about a dozen screenshots here. These are some first three that were apparently snuck into the presentation at Night City Wire. But then CDPR went and posted these on Twitter and said, hey, did anyone catch these? So we've got this one with some guy in a very, very red room. And, I don't know what he's jacked into something, I guess. He's net running.
He's looking up data and checking stuff. This looks like my room, actually. Hold on. I think this is my room.
That's what they wanted those pictures for. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So this looks like a nice net running setup of some sort. This next one here, just a really, really cool screenshot of somebody with a very big gun and some neat cyberware. I love the arm here. I don't know. I just love the ornamenting on this cybernetic arm for some odd reason.
Too much for my taste. How on earth is that going to there's so many things that you need a really, a skinned hand and, sensitive touch for, like gardening and cooking and, petting the cat because, those are great things. Like, how can you do that with a metal arm like that?
I don't know, but you could definitely do some damage with that spiked wristband, I think. That'd be
I mean,
helpful for melee.
you can do some crazy damage with bracelets and wristwatches. Good Lord.
Yes,
Never
but then
get
you
in a
can
fight
break
with
you
a-
can break your flesh and bone wrist. This you can hit somebody over the head as hard as you want and you'll do no damage to yourself. Of course, they probably have cybernetically enhanced skulls and anyway, very cool picture. And then here's a kind of a skyline shot of Night City. This looks awesome.
That last scene did remind me of, like, the famous blunders, like never get in a land war in Asia and never go against a Sicilian when death is on the line. Just like, that kind of stuff. That's kind of what that reminded me of. But yeah, Skyline is, I mean, we've seen some like bigger footage of the city, and I'm going to take a quick victory lap here. The city is huge.
It is freaking
Like,
huge.
there was some downplaying to the whole, like, we put out that leak a long time ago. Like, the map size that they're working with, it was 5 times the size of the Witcher one, and there was a lot of downplaying to this, saying, "Oh no, that's wrong. It's too much." Blah blah blah. It's like, no, we like, between just watching some of the footage that we have and then seeing what some of the other people are saying, is that they drove around whole areas of massive desert and city, and it is very, very large. And again, I understand that sometimes the game devs are not wanting to necessarily talk about, size, because do you count roadway? Do you count the time that it takes you to go from one quest to another? And Ash, you were playing The Witcher 3 a little while ago, and you got on the horse and you rode from. Oh no, sorry, this wasn't you. This was one of our people in the Discord. He got on a horse and he rode from point A to point B, and they're like, "Hey, let's take our horses because this is going to be a long walk." So they got on, and in 30 seconds they were there on horseback. Trotting, not galloping, just trotting, and
Yeah.
that's where they moved. We're talking about, like, taking a bridge, right? Taking a bridge that's got like 6-7 lanes and driving that from huge sections of the city, from one side to the other side, and that whole thing is basically the entire space of entire cities. But because of the scale is different. So I understand that, but from a pure math point of view, as per, like, square footage, this game is massive, and it is easily 5 times bigger. So I'm going to just quick victory lap on that. And yes, it's always what I meant was the square footage, not necessarily
Right.
the square footage. And I'm also counting the different floors on stuff too, right?
Well,
Because
yeah,
if you have a
when you
tower and you've
consider
got
the
20 floors in
verticality,
it,
you can't
yeah.
necessarily visit every office in all of those buildings you're seeing, but there's going to be a lot of verticality, and there's going to be a lot of it's huge. It's just massive, and we're going to see some other.
So two very, like, and again, I understand what some of the devs were cautioning against. They were cautioning against the idea that they didn't want to, like, they didn't want you to assume that there was 5 times the content on the map, because there's not. That bridge that you drive over with the 5 lanes, that doesn't have as much content as, the short horse ride from point A to point B when Geralt's getting his painting done. That's, or portrait done, that's the proper way to say it. And so there, yes, of course, I understand that, but in as far as the square footage of like size, content, available space to walk around and explore, I mean, this is going to be very, 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 very different. I mean, even the combat's different. In the room when you're dealing with swords and sorcery, your rooms are going to be a lot smaller than when you're dealing with, like, sniper rifles and assault rifles shooting at targets from, across the way. The whole formulation of designing maps completely changed. And again, yeah, that's something that we now have proof positive. It's proof positive, been proven now. Thank you very much. Thank you. So Anyways,
All right.
sorry.
Yeah.
Continue.
All right. On to the next one here. So now, then NVIDIA posted some new screenshots on Twitter as well yesterday, I believe, showing some sweet RTX stuff, but also just some other views of the game. So we've got this one, which is part of Night City, with the Lizzie's Bar neon sign there. We saw that in the trailer and in some of the gameplay.
Easily my favorite gang. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
It's going to be so much fun.
Then we have
yes, this is something else that they've done. A lot of people did notice that there was a considerably darker tone shift in a lot of the lighting from the very first trailer. And again, we take that back to, it was early in development and they were happened to show the brighter side of the city. We do have the dark, overcast, acid rain kind of concept that, everybody's been waiting and hoping for. So yeah, that is something that is very, very much, now seen better.
Mm-hmm.
So
here's an interior shot of some kind of a warehouse or workyard building. Anyway, looks really awesome. And then we have this one, another interior shot, but with the skylights and things. The lighting looks really impressive here.
mm-hmm.
And then the final one from NVIDIA.
I love that vehicle, or that giant like dragon head, by the way. That, I think that is absolutely brilliant. I don't know.
Yeah. I wonder what that does.
For a second, it looks like the front of a truck, but that may just be a statue. So I'm not. Don't quote me on that.
Statue of a dragon head. Well, it looks like it looks like the thing's body is over on the right hand side. If you look at it, like.
Yeah. So this is very interesting, and I like the art styles and everything that they're going with it. So it's very very cool.
And then the interior of some sort of cafe, restaurant, bar, or something. So now those got newspapers plastered all over the walls. I wonder if we can go up and read those. It's probably a lot of them are
probably not all of them. We might be able to get some headlines here or there, but and we know that there was a job where they were hiring for people to just like make stuff. Like, imagine that job. Like, your job is to go in and make like newspaper clippings,
write news stories for Night City. Yeah.
And all you really need is just a headline and a date, but you have to like stick within certain like lore stuff. And the bulk of the text is probably just like shadow text where there's not actually anything there. It's just designed to look like paragraphs and stuff. Because you're probably not going to be able to read that, but you will probably be able to read the odd like title or headline on some of that paper. And that's going to be cool because, there is potentially, 40 years or more of lore just sitting in this little particular room. Or more.
If this is like a little canteen that's been around since like 2020, and they have news stories all through the history, so you might read headlines about Johnny Silverhand or about the various corporate wars.
Robin Green, 100%. There could be full newspaper clippings, and a wall like this may take like a single like YouTuber months to go through like every little story piece and put them all together. But I don't suspect that we will see that in its entirely, because that is an enormous amount of like work. That's tens of thousands of words per, probably on that. There's probably like 200,000 words on that wall alone.
I do see some repeated textures though. So I mean, we'll have to see. Once we're in the game, we'll have to go up close there and see if we can actually read anything. But there are definitely a lot of fun things to find and read in the game. Here's one of my favorite screenshots. This is one from the giveaways that are available on GOG or GOG. Some people get annoyed with me when I say GOG. But you can go to GOG.com, get the what's it called? The Cyberpunk 2077 goodies package or something like that. This is one of the screenshots that was in there. This is just, I mean, the juxtaposition here is great. where you've got just this guy going down from a shotgun blast, and then on the right you have this hilarious ad for something called Solasil Map something Stadog. I can't quite read that. I do have a high quality version of this poster, and it's really funny, but just the dude, this looks so funny with the dude taking a bite of something and his head exploding. I don't know, I just find that to be so funny. But yeah, ads like that going to be all over the city, so we'll be able to check out a whole bunch of those. Here's another one of my favorite screenshots using the nanowire. At first I was like, what is this? Why are lasers shooting across the screen? But no, that's the nanowire. So he's using it like a whip here, taking the guy down with it. And then here's what now this is from, this one I believe is not from the GOG giveaways. It was one of the screenshots that CDPR sent to us directly. I mean, what a fine looking specimen. I mean, that yellow car with the two front wheels just in the background here. I mean, have you seen anything sexier in your life?
I love the gold trim,
Yeah.
there, and the dark, kind of like an eyeshadowy color just under
There's some just nice looking cars in this game.
There.
There's yeah, we're gonna see some of them in a minute. We're gonna show you some video with that. Red car's not bad either. And then yeah, this blue one in the foreground. If you ignore the person driving, it just looks really nice.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I'm kidding. This is the NPC I was talking about. That I'm just like, who is this? Is this a random?
That's a random NPC.
Is this just a rando just looking out the window of the car like, hello, stranger? That's actually what the file name of this screenshot is hello, stranger. So I'm going to be looking for this person for reasons. I mean, I just want to ask about that cyber arm. It looks fantastic. And yeah. So yeah. Of course, can't really see her hair here. I don't know. If she steps fully into the light, I mean, I feel like I might be in for a bit of a shock. But yeah. Anyway, fine looking NPC. And then we have just another shot here of, this one's called Blood in the Rain, and it is just a nice sort of evening night shot, or some nighttime lighting for Night City. Very cool. Yeah. Just the sheer amount of stuff they had to make for this game just blows my mind.
Mm-hmm. Well, the assets, I mean, this is one thing that we know that they've been working on nonstop for so long, is just the enormous amount of assets that have been brought and put into the game for just art and the generic life of just walking around, the signs, the glow, like the neon stuff, like all that stuff is like, they've been working on this day in, day out for years. And I mean, even before that, they were, before they had done the big switch now, they had been working on stuff, and a lot of that stuff, was brought over. Not everything was scrapped, like some people said. It was just improved upon and made better. So this is nothing but good. This is nothing but good.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then finally we have some. This is concept art of the city design, and we just get an appreciation for how massive this city is in the game. I don't know that you can necessarily go to all these places, but there are. This was shared on a Discord, and we got a high quality version of it in our. I'm actually going to unlock this, and I'm gonna zoom in a bit on the city itself. Whoops, that's not doing what I want it to do. Hang on. Let's reset that. There we go. Yeah, just a massive amount of city, and then We see there's a lot of places in the outskirts, the Badlands that we'll be able to explore. This looks like, I guess, a solar panel farm. This what powers the city, I guess. I don't know what all this jazz is here. Greenhouses, maybe.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is something that I think we've seen in the footage of them driving through those big square things. It's like it's not. It looks as if, and again, I'm not 100% certain, but it is like some form of a greenhouse, basically growing their essentially their fuel.
Yeah.
So or other things, or it could be a mix mash. It could be a lot of things. And I like this because this really goes to show that Cyberpunk and CDPR have put into the game this concept of, like, sustainability, where you have the city, and it's always maddening to me. It's like you walk into a big city, and the big city has 2 cows and like 4 patches of plants in the soil on the outskirts of one house. It's like, where do people get their food in this city? Like, that always bothers me. It's like, where like, you go to these farms in Skyrim, and it's like they've got like 4 potato plants and like 5 grain things, and that's it. That's all there is. And it's like, what? This is not how are you feeding an entire army off of this? So this kind of stuff here, these may be shipping containers or crate containers, but the solar farm is like, yeah, there would be a size, equal to or greater than the city of just solar farming.
Yeah.
And this is a really important feature to see, because it really makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. By the way, I just realized I was zooming in on different parts of this picture, but forgot to click the button that makes it update on the actual stream.
Yeah.
I know,
so I
apologize
a bit of
for
a delay,
that.
Yeah.
I apologize for that.
This looks, by the way, if you're looking on the left side of the image right now, that does look like a particular rocket launching site out in the
Could
bay.
be, yeah.
This is very possible. And then further up from that, you can see up to the far left there, that definitely looks like, I mean, it's not just like Badlands. That's like Badlands.
Yeah, that looks like sulfur fires or something happening. And there was discussion on our Discord server about what these things on the left are. These bluish white streaks of light. There's like a line of them in the bay.
Probably like some kind of a shielding or defense mechanism for ships coming in, or also just good old fashioned like lighthouses, or just a different type of it. So it's kind of interesting.
But some were saying also that it could be some actual some future tech that is being researched right now, something to combat global warming, where they put something from the oceans back into the atmosphere so that it I don't remember exactly the details. There was a big discussion about it on our Discord server. So anyway, very cool. So and then here's another one. This is City Center. Again, concept art. This is not an in-game screenshot. This is a concept art, but I mean, gives you an appreciation for how massive this is in that river. And I just wonder what we'll be able to, because there's a lot of water in this game. There's a lot of water on the map. So I wonder, will we be able to take boats out? Will we be able to take submersibles under the water, take a look around, maybe sneak in somewhere through a little underground submerged waterway? That would be pretty awesome. I don't know. Just saying it would be cool. And here's another one. This is a part of the city called Haywood.
Haywood.
That's what she said. Anyway.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So some awesome stuff. So I'm just gonna bring it back to our artwork for the day here as I prepare to share the video that we're gonna do. So
You got to go be so excited.
so you want to go through the trailer first?
Sure. Let's start with the trailer. We'll save the best for last.
Now here, hopefully I don't screw this up. It's kind of a complicated setup here today, as I try to not only have the video going, but keep monitoring OBS and looking at chat, and I need to devote an entire monitor to the video preview. So this is a little complicated. We're gonna we're gonna give this a shot, though. We're gonna give this a shot. The other thing is, anytime I click away from my video software, you're just gonna see this Triple S League logo, because the video preview doesn't show up unless my video editing software is the window that has focus. So I'll try to keep it in focus as much as possible, but I may need to click away now and then. So, like I said, kind of a MacGyvered setup here. But let's go, and hopefully the volume, I've got the volume turned down a little, so hopefully this won't blast your eardrums. But here is the trailer.
Love this town, the city of endless opportunity. Ready to get your cherry popped? Yeah, come on.
City like any other, just bigger.
Nah, mano, not just any other city. Legends are born here.
The major leagues. We're only here because Dex is pulling the strings. Doubt that puts us in the same league as them.
But we are. They just don't know it yet. But if you got the cojones and you know how to use them, you can do damn near anything.
Unless you catch a bullet.
Even then, you go out with a bang, right?
You know, you can make heaps more eddies as a motivational speaker.
Yo, Mr. V, a pleasure.
So what's the gig, Dex? You meant to come out in one piece? How about we go over the plan?
There's this prototype tech, a biochip to be precise. Jobs to grab it.
Guessing it belongs to a corp.
Arasaka.
We're robbing some heavy hitters.
Thought you could blackmail me, fucker?
High risk, high reward. First rule of the afterlife.
Ka-ting, baby.
All right, let's just pause it there, because we kind of got captivated by that. But anything that we've seen so far that you've all seen this already, I'm sure. So let's talk about bits of this. That's about the first half of the trailer there. Anything specific you wanted to go back and look at?
One of the funniest things was the three girls beating up the one dude in the alleyway.
Yes.
Like, that was genuinely funny.
This is a nice shot to pause it on, by the way. Well, it just gives you the sense of this. The city, it looks cool, and it's just got this. This is a dark dystopian world, and like street violence just commonplace, and so. No, I apologize. I should have been. There's the shot right there. I should have been pausing as we go through. So I'm just going to kind of click through this first half here. So you're good buddies with Jackie. We do have info on how you actually meet Jackie. It's quite an entertaining little scene.
Well, we don't know how many. So like right now we have it in sections. And it appears as if it is different based on your background. So
that would be cool, actually. Yeah, if you meet Jackie different ways.
From what we can tell, there's Jackie, as you know him as a street person or punk or whatever. There's Jackie that you may or may not know as Corpo, having some kind of connection to him, and then it seems as if the one of them will have him like kind of out of nowhere. So yeah.
There's another
where you just kind of you meet him for the first time and he's got a gun in your face, and we've seen that in some of the footage already, and so there's definitely some stuff going on. We don't know if we're going to get time skips at all, and the concept of time jumps may or may not necessarily be something that we're going to end up seeing for sure. So there's definitely some stuff to this. I find it really funny that most of the Lizzie gangs are using baseball bats. is very Harley Quinnish. So yeah, it's going to be good.
That shot there where he gets just like boom.
Just like it's like out of it. So yeah,
this here where you like knock the guy out with the basketball. That's a scene where you land your hover car in the parking lot and they get pissed off because you interrupted their basketball game.
Well, you didn't land it in the parking lot. You landed it in the middle of the basketball court.
Well, yeah, or basketball court. Yeah, he's just like, here's another NPC I think people are going to have questions about. Who is this? She's clearly probably gets money to do things with you. Judy.
Yeah.
I want to say something
Judy
about
wearing
this,
that one strap off there. I would offer to fix that for her because like clearly, I got a sewing kit. I could probably fix that. I mean, it wouldn't be pretty. I'm not very good at it, but
yes, you're.
But I wonder if that's actually what she wants. Like I don't know. It's just it's kind of weird. It's like maybe she's doing that intentionally. I don't know. Then I just like the whole car, like all of the different cars in the game, all the different like everything in the game. She does have a sidearm in that one clip there, so there's that.
This is we know this character's name. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but I believe she's a fixer. So she's somebody you're going to interact with. And then I should probably just go through it like this, slow-mo without sound. You've all seen the trailer, so
so it's all really good, and we're gonna be checking this out. The stuff like with Dex Deshawn in the vehicle here, it's like much better than the first time round. So that's good. Clearly,
this has changed significantly. And we put up a post asking, which one do you think was better? It's the 2018 version juxtaposed against this shot here. And some people are saying they liked the red interior of the car better. But the lighting and smokiness of this one definitely is very cool as well. Here's driving through the Badlands. You can get a sense here. That's a quick shot. We'll show you more in a bit. The scene with Jackie laughing here. It's like
and the Netrunner, she's just looking at him like he's crazy.
Yeah, so this side
like almost smiled maybe. Yeah. It's interesting.
So this kind of gives you. This trailer is called. Oh shoot, what's it called?
The Gig.
The Gig. That's right. The Gig. The main gig. That the job to get the chip that Dex Deshawn gives you. So Ali Mafuz says, can we get some of those wallpapers? Some of those looked like desktop wallpaper material. Do you mean the screenshots or do you mean the... I don't want to share the screenshots that CDPR sent to us. I don't want to just distribute because they were...
Yeah, we'll get into
but I mean,
we're getting into a little trouble. I mean, you can always clip the screen.
Clip the screen. I mean, we can't stop you from doing that. And if you're talking about shots from the trailer here, I mean, obviously you can do that as well. You can find a high quality version of the trailer and turn anything you want into your desktop background. All right, so some stuff here. There's that scene. Now this looks a lot different too than the original shot we saw, but this is this scene of some people getting fried in the Arasaka building. And
I mean, this corpo background is probably gonna be one of the most interesting because of all of this stuff. We don't know what forced Corpo V to go out and do this stuff. And so this is one of these really interesting things where we've got some backstory that we probably haven't seen here that's going to make, like, why would a corpo who's really rich and got lots of money and power, why on earth would they be suddenly hightailing it out to do, crime on the streets? Like, what's gone on there? What's gone on there to cause that? And that's a good question. So, Yeah. All right.
All right.
Move on.
So,
We're gonna hurry this up.
Adam Smasher.
Yeah.
He's a character from lore, part of the confirmed part of the game now. So, also Lady Reaver's husbando. So one of her many husbands.
He's been around for a long time. This guy has seen a lot of stuff go on, and he is normally associated, or in the past he's been associated with Arasaka. So we're seeing more and more of this Arasaka stuff, and I get the distinct impression that there's two different Arasakas going on at the same time. And that there is a potential for conflict between the two different factions within Arasaka, and you are definitely involved in that in one way, shape, or form as the corpo background. You are Arasaka. That is from everything that we've been told thus far, from everything that we're hearing. If your background is the corpo, then your background is Arasaka, not. It's not like you get to pick which megacorp you're working for or which one you were connected to. You were connected to Arasaka, and something happened to force you out onto the street. So stuff going on there, potentially the deepest storyline. I also really like the storyline for the for the Nomad, because like he's clearly running from something, or V is clearly running from something there. We see that in the little gameplay trailer that they put out on IGN, where they kind of covered that as the startup, and you saw different. V looked a little different. He's just rips that patch off, and it's like his home is gone. So so all of this stuff going on is really building up to something cool.
Yes. This there's everybody's
Stout screaming at him.
Stout.
This is Corpo V.
So we're seeing full reflections here. I don't know if you have to have ray tracing enabled to have the full reflections. I know that there are ways to do it that don't require ray tracing, so I don't know what they'll do with it here.
Nice. Stop freezing on the puke. Ugh, gross.
I didn't realize what that was. My apologies. And here's the. And on the right there we saw Claire that's Claire, right? The bar girl. Another popular.
Yeah, we're gonna see her in the clip that I've picked out for us to watch here.
Spinning donuts in a car, nice. Now this is so you have hover cars in the game, and I don't think you can drive them.
No, you can't drive them. They're kind of like a flight. They're kind of like a flight thing.
Yeah, like a set flight path.
You basically tell it where to go, and it follows a predefined flight path to get to where you're going. Again, it's like this is the part where you're going up to the whole the whole. There we go. He's grabbing the thingy.
Yeah. So that's. Oh yeah, this is
This is again. This has changed significantly. That's the scene where we rescue the person from the chop shop, the body chop shop, basically.
Yep.
And so this is again very interesting. Here we're doing some drugs, some very nice, some very nice stuff, And then this scene, this is the chop shop again. We know that this is one of the early scenes from the tutorial pre-chip mission. So it looks like there's several pre-chip missions. There's the one where we save the girl. There's the one that we go in and we get the little spider bot, and then we know that there's probably one or two others before we go on the mission to get the chip. So
this is, I believe, that elevator shot, that famous elevator shot. Shooting up some stuff. Car combat. That is, can't remember this boss's name.
It's and you can tell he's gotten a lot different. That whole fight's been massively improved by the looks of it. If it's the same one, we're not still 100% certain that is the new boss fight. So
Yeah, all right, some more combat. Melee combat, which a lot of people have had some criticisms of this, saying it just doesn't look all that well fleshed out. Thing to remember, though, and some said the same about the katana thing. I did put out a video about the katana. But one thing to remember is that we're seeing early game footage, and
it's not fully fleshed out, but there's also boundaries, right? When it comes to first person melee combat, your capacity for depth of gameplay is extraordinarily limited. It really is, and that's not like, this is not a Cyberpunk CDPR thing. This is there's very few first person games that have really good melee combat. It's very, very focused, because you don't have peripheral vision. You don't have the ability to block to the left and the right. You don't have the ability to do things that you would normally do in a fight. When you're dealing with like third person or isometric or whatever kind of like melee combat, you have infinitely more depth than you do from the first person perspective, as well as the motions. Like, you can in like Soul Calibur and fighting games like that, you can grab, twist, throw, do grapples, that kind of stuff. It's really hard to pull any of that off in any form of like a reasonable way in first person. The majority of the time, you just cannot have that, period.
Yeah, but you've also got to ask. Is that the focus of this game? Do they want to spend a whole bunch of resources developing a robust, melee combat system?
I'm just pointing it out. You can't expect evolution when you're doing first person melee.
Well, I disagree.
I know you disagree, but the answer is that it just has never been done, and there's a reason why it's never been done, and it's because you exist in a pseudo micro dimensional space as far as the three-dimensional physics are part of. You can't do grapples, you can't do spins and flips, and anybody who's done any wrestling knows that grapples are a huge part of melee combat, and you just don't have that in first person games. And if you
could do it, but your
dizzy.
view is so limited that it wouldn't be conducive to that,
right?
You'd have to VR might work better, but
peripheral vision is something. It's not just peripheral vision, it's like vision that you're not directly seeing on, and that's the limitation that you have when it comes down to first person. And again, it's like, I'm trying not to criticize it too much, and I'm definitely not criticizing them directly, because this is a fault that all first person games have, is you really don't have that stuff, and we're looking for stuff in the future. And this is where obviously the big next generation of like combat and stuff will come from for first person games when we get into this. And one of the, like, you look at Half-Life, right? That really stepped things forward, and we have that, but it's like that requires that VR presence. So again, you don't negatively review or negatively think about Cyberpunk in a negative light due to the melee combat, because it's not really like, it's they're put in a box when they did this choice, and that box is unfortunately quite sad. I would love them to have gone into and we've talked about one of our favorite games is Academy, Jedi Knight Academy, where you can do, like, you remember the backward stabs? It's like you can do a backward stab. That's something that you just can't do in a first person game, because again, the physics behind it doesn't marry up with how a game is portrayed when you're going through the first person.
The view thing. Your viewport definitely does limit you as far as that goes. So
anyways, moving on.
The one other thing I wanted to say though was that we're seeh low skilled combat too, and that applies to the shooting as much as to the melee combat. That's pretty gruesome. We know, like, animations and skills and things will improve throughout the game as you put more points into skills, or use the skills more. So if the combat looks really stiff at the beginning, it might loosen up. It might get better as if your character gets better at melee combat.
Yeah. So we'll see where that goes, and there's some choices and directions that they can move in. This is again Corpo V. And you can tell, like, his whole suit, his whole dynamic is a little bit different. This really does look like, I mean, we know that there's tons of customization in the game. There's so many clothes that you can equip. And so, yeah, anybody can just kind of grab this on. But from what we can tell from this scene, this is definitely Corpo V in the bathroom reacting to the whole Jackie scenario. So this, unfortunately, starts to lend more and more credence to the concept that this is a hard thing that happens in the game. And and that's quite concerning for those of us who are Jackie fans. But again, we don't know exactly how this works out, and we'll see. So we're not answering that in any way, shape, or form. And then getting shot in
Good
the
old
head.
Johnny, and here's okay. Johnny's looking much better than in some of the early gameplay that he showed up in. Like, he looks like he actually has depth and isn't just painted on the wall now. So that's really good.
I never minded that. Again, this is one of these things where it's like everybody's like, oh, the digital ghost doesn't look very real. Like, really? Well, I'm shocked. I didn't know that digital ghosts were supposed to look real. I mean, I've had a chat with the occasional ghost, but never did I look at a ghost and say, your substance just doesn't look right. That's a surefire way to get covered in ectoplasm, like, right away. So,
well, I mean, I agree. I'm okay with him not looking 100% real, but there was one shot of the gameplay where it literally looked like he was painted onto the wall, but he was actually standing in the scene, and I thought, okay, that's got to change.
Again, never bothered me, not even once.
November 19th.
It bothers me more that it's like apparently he's like fully fleshed. That bothers me far more than looking like he's like digitally added in. It's because it's kind of like, well, this is supposed to be what it's supposed to be like. But whatever.
Okay, so let's look at some of the other B-roll footage.
Now's the treat. Here's the treat, guys. Here's some stuff that I don't know if you've seen this before. There's a good chance that you have not seen this before, but this is full stuff.
It is out there.
Right
like,
from it.
It is. I think all of this is pretty much out there, but we'll take a look at this. All right, now I need to just find the right spot here. So first, let's look at some environments and some driving. Okay, hi. Are you going to do something now? There. Oh, there we go. That's not
the scene.
That's not what I wanted to see. Hold on. Oh, I know why. That's why. Okay, here we go. This is what I wanted to show you. Okay, so here, I'm going to show you a little bit of driving through Night City here. Car looks really sweet. The driving looks decent. And as you can see, you're actually getting some skill improvements as you're driving around. I don't know why.
We don't know what that's for. And as I pointed out before, that could be just your level ups from the previous mission that they just finished.
That could be, yeah.
So again, true. like just be aware that there's things going on that we don't know about. I can guarantee you, I really doubt that you're getting street cred and handgun level ups whilst driving and normally through the city.
Yeah,
I really don't think that's what's going on here. And again, I don't want false information to go flying out there, and this is one of these things where that I really like. No, let's put a kibosh on that right away.
Yeah.
You're not getting experience for handguns whilst driving normally through a town.
So yeah, you just as Scadrill's saying in the chat, you just exited combat or something. Here's another driving bit. This time, first person, so you can see the interior of the car. Listening to some music, chilling. But you can also just get a sense of the scope of the Badlands here. You can quickly swap between the first person and third person driving. A lot of space here, and I'm obviously not a lot out here, but lots.
And this is where we really look at this and say, look, no, there is so much space to this map. There is a wall, there is somewhat of an invisible barrier that is put up on the far distance that you can't just, you can't just keep on driving all the way to like Texas or Midwest or something like that. Like you do come up against walls, and that is a natural progression of the world. So yeah,
there's a limit to how far you can go. Now here, this is not exactly driving, but this is a longer shot of the flying through the city in the hover car.
Yeah, we've seen this a lot in a lot of other footage. This has been one of these things that we really see. And again, I even at the high, even at 1080p, I'm not seeing it quite as. Oh, sorry, no, I'm fine. I'm looking at it at 480.
You're looking at it as you're looking at a very reduced version.
Yeah, on the YouTube thing, it is slightly reduced depending on what you're.
The initial footage, like the footage I'm playing, is in. It's
4K.
It's at
or 2K. 4K?
It's at least 2K. Might be 4K, but it's
yeah, it was an enormous file.
It's going down to we're streaming it at 1080. Actually, not even. Just unfortunately due to the setup, but Cyb gets a ridiculously grainy preview for his, because I'm also simultaneously streaming it to his computer. What's the graph on the left? Asks Time Bean. Could be stocks. If you look like in the bottom right, there's a little heads-up display, and it looks like there's a stock ticker there. So this might be Corpo V.
This is Corpo V
keeping his stocks.
Just again to clarify, this is Corpo V's starting thing. We saw where Nomad V is starting in the shop and he's looking in the mirror. That's Corpo V's start. That's Nomad's V's start. This is Corpo V's start, from what we can tell.
Right. All right, and then. All right, so you wanted to show part of the bar scene, so I'll just cue that up here. So from about here, that should be. No, let's back it up a bit
This is
more.
where they just walk into the bar here.
We got the bouncer dude outside. Here, I'll start.
Heights. Okay, no, not too far back. There you go.
Way ahead of you,
See, we don't want to show more than half of this particular scene.
This is it.
The Afterlife bar.
Heart of Night City.
And of course, right around this corner over here, if you pause that or just go back a few seconds, there's the. We'll see the girl is in full chrome. This is something that you get again. So you've seen it in some other footage here and there before, but the girl on the right is in full chrome body. No, further back.
Further back. Okay, where are you? Where are you?
Just a little bit more.
Oh, there we go. There she is. Okay.
There you go. Yeah, girl in full chrome. Past this, I know you can't see it here, but past this to the right, there's another really cool scene that's playing out in the Afterlife bar. You've got Arya arguing with Commander Shepard about how they're going to save the Citadel, or what. That's
wrong Afterlife bar, dude. Wrong Afterlife.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Wrong. Because there's so many Afterlife bars in video games. God, that was a decade ago. All right, sorry. Yes, no. Forget what I just said there.
Okay. Let's play this a little further.
Heart of Night City. That's it right there. Beating. Hear it? Can you imagine? Susan Forrest, Boa Boa, maybe even Morgan Blackhand. All sat on those stools. Fell asleep on that same bar.
Looks like we're up.
Man, the animations look so
See that
good.
old lady there? That's Rogue. Best fixer in all of Night City.
Thought Dex was the best.
Rogue was lining up jobs when Dex was still shitting in diapers.
There's
Place belongs.
Claire's gonna show up. There she is.
What can I get you? Yeah.
Her hair just looks so good. Like,
You order.
I know this footage isn't doing, like, the YouTube footage probably isn't doing it justice, but
Duo of Johnny Silverhands coming up.
looks really awesome.
Right on, chica.
So, yeah. Did you want to go farther on this?
Yeah, just play to the end.
Somebody did their homework.
So there's a drink here named after Johnny Silverhand.
Age-old tradition. Drinks are named after our regulars.
Say I wanted a drink named after me. What would I have to do?
Snuff it. Mind-blowingly spectacular fashion. Mid-op would be best.
What a beautiful tradition.
Jackie.
Tonight's
Oh,
City.
Jackie.
And the afterlife. Ha ha!
Yeah. All right. That's yeah. So that's really any other comments on that scene?
I hope you don't hear the bells going off here. So yeah, that's the full intro, which most of the time you just see in the background a little bit here and there on some of these videos, but that's the full audio. You can pause that. You can take a look at the conversation options that you get. Again, this is the kind of the pre-chip tutorial stuff. There's not as much choice in the pre-bit as there is in the later game. We know that stealth gameplay does not function not very much in the pre-chip stuff, because you're with Jackie and you're going around and he just kind of walks in and it's far more linear. A lot of these things are far more linear and far more controlled. So yeah, that's just something to remember as we're going in, as we're going to end up seeing more of this stuff. So yeah, this is pretty awesome. I'm really stoked about this. So yeah, this is again. So just kind of like everything that we've seen, everything that we've gotten, this looks like the real deal. The biggest concern that I have, and the biggest concern I think most everybody has, is going to end up dealing with the situation, the scenario of having to deal with the machine or the console not being strong enough, because this game is massive. There's so much stuff going on. It's so much intensity going on, and a lot of that stuff is really. There's a lot of that stuff that's just going to be very, very, very difficult to run on some of these lighter machines, and that's the only worry that I have. I think that once you get this, if you can install this thing onto an SSD and you've got a really good graphics card, I don't think you're going to have any issues playing this game whatsoever. And that's going to become easier and easier and easier. It may have some difficulty in the launch period as far as like running on some of the older systems, running on the first stupid consoles, like managing to get that stuff going. You're going to have some difficulty with that for sure. But I think overall, what we're seeing is a real masterpiece without any garbage writing. It's like we're going to see some really amazing stuff from this game. Then you've got the expansions, then you've got the multiplayer, and you've got all the user-generated content, and so much user-generated content. I can picture that coming in, especially if they give us the access to that, to the engine and the kit, and give us the ability to just create and port in mods like left, right, and center. It's like, and that may not come soon. Just again, that probably will be one of the last things that they do for the game as far as like content releases and whatnot. But we're looking at a real masterpiece in the works here, like for sure. So yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see where this goes and how this ends up working out over the long haul, plus the story, plus all of the stuff that's going on. Like, this is really, really, really interesting, and I cannot wait for us to get our hands on this. We've got more stories coming out very shortly, and then we will eventually be having more and more people will be getting hands-on with this, and the hands-on will start to go a little bit deeper into the game too. So that's something that we can definitely expect, because of course they're not going to want to show too much post chip. I think most of what we're going to see is going to be pre-chip, but the reviews and eventually people will get access to that post chip stuff just before release, and that's really where things are going to, like, when people are able to post their reviews once they finish the game, once they get to that that ending and see that, it's going to be really cool. Obviously, we want to avoid spoilers and whatnot, so we're never gonna spoil like major plot stuff. Only stuff that leads into the plot, like the relationship between Johnny and his girlfriend and that kind of stuff. Is like we can talk about that, because that's stuff that's been out there. It's been part of the lore for ages, but a lot of people don't know about it, and it's going to be interesting to see that once it gets in there. But yeah, this is going to be awesome. Again, covering from everything that we've seen and heard from most of the people that are reviewing it, this is the real deal, in that there are a handful of problems here or there that are basically come down to stylistic choice, and so they're not essentially a problem. They're just part of whatever you are used to dealing with as somebody who likes the stuff. Yeah. So I think that's probably, like, there's so much stuff, there's so much to talk about. We're gonna be in the chat, we're gonna be in the Discord afterwards. We're gonna be covering as much as we can on this. We've got more videos coming out. We're gonna have more content coming out. Huge show on the community podcast tomorrow. We've got tons of stuff going on, and we want to make sure that everybody is
whose channel is that on
everything. So
if you're new, by the way,
that
the
is
Cyberpunk
Last Known Meals.
All right, so the Cyberpunk 2077 community podcast is a weekly podcast on Sundays. Rotates between 4 channels: our channel, the Mad Queen Show, Last Known Meal, and the Neon Arcade. If you're new to the show today, you can check that out. Check out all of those 4 channels. They do great Cyberpunk 2077 content. And, there's so much more we could talk about. There's just been so much info lately. Unfortunately, we need to wrap it up eventually, and there's just more info than we've been able to sort through. But we're going to have more slices of Cyberpunk 2077 coming. We're going to have, we're going to be talking about this game for a long time to come, right up to release, and then, of course, we'll be covering it thoroughly and in depth. So. And with that, we will wrap up the show for today. So thank you so much, everybody. I think this was a great show today. This was a lot of fun doing it in this format. Normally we cover, all the gaming news that we can, but this was the news this week. So, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us, for supporting the show by listening live or after the fact. Don't forget to slam that like button if you haven't already. We really appreciate that. Also, subscribe for tons more Cyberpunk 2077 content. Hit that notification bell to be notified when we put up videos or go live. And, of course, if you're watching after the fact, leave comments below. Special thank you to our Patreon supporters and our channel members who help to make this content possible. Our big damn heroes on Patreon: Robin, Shua82, Timebean, Schoolaman, and our 2 anonymous supporters at that tier. Thank you to our supporters at the other tiers as well. Very helpful. And our channel members on YouTube: Mr. Pazernik, Jer Schultz, Game Notes, Night City Punk, Terror K, Somnolence, And also, if you're listening after the fact on one of the audio-only platforms, well, you missed some of the content today because you didn't see it, so you can join the live show on Wednesdays and Saturdays on YouTube, where you can interact with us and other listeners, be part of the discussion. By the way, if you felt that this deep dive was helpful and informative, please share it around. We would really appreciate that. If you post it and say, hey, check out this deep dive of Cyberpunk content, we'd really appreciate that. The Augmented Reality Podcast is a presentation of the Triple S League. Check out our YouTube channel for game guides, reviews, comedy, news updates, and tons more quality gaming content. My name is Ash. On behalf of Cyb, thank you all so much for listening. We'll talk to you again very soon.